Hi guys, Squirrel here and welcome to London Paddington. London Paddington, what a massive station. This is the Just Trains Western Mainlines scenario, which is very recently released. Let me just open some doors here. 8:57 departure. Let me just very quickly jump inside, because we have a schedule to keep to. Why are you not going down? Thank you very much. Let's put the parking brake on. Lights are on. Okay. We should be departing shortly. Yeah, Just Trains just released the Western Mainlines, it's called, and it's a pretty big scenario. I'll talk about more in a second and show you on the map how big it is and on what's in it, but there's a lot in it. There's a huge amount in it. I'm just waiting to depart here out of Paddington. Our journey is taking us today from Paddington, as you can see. We're going through Reading Station, Didcot, Swindon, Chippenham, Bath Spa, and then final destination is Bristol Temple Mead Platform 15. This is a high-speed train, but because this scenario is so massive, it's actually going to take us 2 hours to get there. So although we're only departing at 8:56, we only arrive at 10:58, and we have a schedule to keep to. I should be breaking this video into two parts for that reason, two 1 hour parts roughly. We'll see the sights on the way. There's a lot of stuff to see. As you can see, there's actually like a load of places, a lot of stations that they've implemented, about 60 stations in total. Huge amounts. 60 stations, all done really well. As you can see, this one's done really, really well. And then you've got places of interest that you can visit as well, which we'll talk about as we get underway. But the only downside, I think, to this scenario is the kind of other stuff that you might need to get the best out of it in terms of scenarios. Although it is compatible with quick drive, so you can just jump in any train you like and just say, I want to go from here to here. And that will be fine, that will work just fine and dandy. But there are a bunch of scenarios, a lot of them are very long scenarios as well. Okay. Let's get set off. A lot of them are very long scenarios. And in order to get to use them, you'll need some extra locos. Some of them are on Steam, some of them are from Just Trains directly. First Great Western. Beautiful. Got a green light ahead. We are now departing from Paddington Platform 9. So, what's actually in this whole pack? Well, from end to end, what we're looking at here, in case you're not familiar with the Great Western Route, as it were, Great Western Railways, he says, sounding like Jonathan Wass. Great Western Railways goes back a long, long time, you know, in the British railway industry. We're talking like West London, all the way westwards, towards Cardiff, Bristol, Exeter, that kind of thing. Very significant route. Always has been a very significant route in British railways. Why can't I say railways? Railways. Good grief. British railways. It's been a very significant route. I'm spotting a yellow light ahead. Okay, let's back off on the throttle here. And this particular DLC goes from Paddington to Bristol, Bristol to Cardiff, Bristol to Exeter. It also branches off into various places like Oxford, Didcot. There's a lot to it. Okay, we've got a red signal ahead by the look of it. So let's get some brakes going. I'm assuming there must be another train coming the other way. There's quite a lot of track here. AWS kicking in there. But the sheer volume of this thing, 60 stations, is incredible. Yeah, there you go. Gotta wait for this guy. Cool. It's like having your own little train set. Look at that. But just look at the standard of the modelling. Although there is, whoops, oh, that probably killed my score. Just went the wrong way in the brake. Accidentally enabled the emergency brakes. Although there is a huge amount of detail in terms of the places you can drive to, the mileage. You know, you're talking end to end. There are scenarios in here that you get that take 3 hours. I've seen the 3-hour one. This particular scenario is 110 minutes, something like that. But just look around. Look at the detail. It's a fantastic little DLC, this one. You know, in terms of value for money, you get so much for the money. However, like I say, you've got to be careful because you need some extra locos to take advantage of the scenarios. For example, on Steam, you're going to need the Class 67, 47, 166, and the HST, which you can buy on Steam. You may already have them, in which case, straight away you'll be able to play the scenarios. If not, you might want to go ahead and buy some just to unlock those scenarios. On the terms of Just Trains, this is a Just Trains DLC, which does mean, you know, it leverages quite a few of their locos. Now, obviously, that is a shrewd attempt to get you to buy more of their locos, and that's fair enough. They're trying to make money and stay in business. But you know, Class 60, the Class 60 Advanced, the Class 67, the Voyager Advanced, the Class 153 DMU Advanced, the list goes on. There's quite a few locos that, at least half of them I'd say, are Just Trains locos that you'll need, and the other half are either Steam ones, which you probably already have, or you'll have to buy. I myself don't have all the locos. I can't play all the scenarios. There's a few Just Trains ones that I just don't have. But I do have some of them. Let's back off here. We've not quite hit that 50 limit. Let me just double check. Where's the next platform? 34 miles to Reading. I've never travelled down here on the train. I think actually that's a lie. I travelled once in my lifetime on the train. When I went to Bath, however you want to say it. I went to Bath, which is near Bristol. In fact, this has got, I think this has got Bath Station in it, if I remember. So I went there once, but other than that, I've never been down here. But I have been down the motorway. I think it's the M4. It's like the M4 corridor, as it's called. It's a big east-west motorway that goes from London out to the let's get this right, the M5 at Bristol. I think that's right. I am going off excuse me, I am going off memory here, so that may be complete tosh. I think that's correct, but the M4 roughly follows the same path as this. It runs east-west essentially. But yeah, I'll keep popping out external camera just to give you an idea of the scenery detail. As you can see, there's an absolute ton. It's an absolute joy to look at. So much to see. In terms of major stations that you're going to get in this scenario, you've got Paddington, which we just set out of, Reading, which we're going to, Didcot Parkway, which is in here. Didcot platform is on here. I don't know why that was showing up. 32 miles. What else have we got? Major stations: Oxford, Cardiff Central, Bristol Parkway, Bristol Temple Meads, where we're going to, Swindon, and Exeter St David's. Now, if I could just double check that it's quite safe to drive at full speed, I'll very quickly show you the map. Now, let's center on player. There we go. So here we are, and you can see there's the maintenance depot that just passed. That's Heathrow Terminal 5, Heathrow the airport. We set out of Paddington, and we are now here. And if I zoom out, you'll get a sense of scale of this thing. Look at this. We're here, remember? We've got all of this to travel to. That goes up to Oxford. We come all the way down here. This is where Didcot is. Cardiff is over there, Newbury, and then Exeter is all the way down here. Fantastic amount of track. This really is a gorilla of a DLC. You know, they could quite happily have broken this up into 3 different pieces and released it. So GG to Just Trains for not doing that. It's all connected, it's all end-to-end, you can travel down loads of it, it's fantastic. There are commuter runs you can do, there are HST runs you can do. Just, yeah, I'm just really... It's really good to see a DLC with so much content in it. For about, what, £20 I think it is? About $30? Yeah, absolute. I can't say enough about that. It's fantastic. I wish everybody did that. But let us get on and focus here. I'm not sure why it keeps showing me Southall, platform 1. Unless it's just showing me the next station. Reading station 30 miles. But it's, yeah, it's like 9 o'clock in the morning. It's I think it's a summer's day, this scenario, so you can see the sun is out. There are snowy scenarios I've seen, rainy, cloudy, nighttime. There are, I think, at least 2 shunting stock around. You know, like freight type stuff. But, you know, there's nothing to stop you just creating your own scenarios. Just to make it fun. Put them in the workshop. I've no doubt that people will create scenarios for this. There's just so much here that you could exploit. In fact, if I had one criticism, and this really is a very, you know, lightweight criticism, I would have liked to have seen more scenarios. I think they've put so much here that they could quite happily have created 20 to 30 scenarios, but, you know, it's they've got to get it out the door, I guess, and it is good value for money, so I'm not really criticising them for that, but it would have been nice to just have loads of scenarios to play with. So we'll just have to wait for the modders to get in there. Look at that. Let's have a listen to the horn. I always thought the horn went the other way. I thought it went ba ba rather than ba ba, which makes it sound slightly depressed. Let's see if we can get a drive-by here. Can we get a trackside drive-by? There we go. Awesome. Good stuff, huh? Southall platform 1. We're not stopping there. How many tracks we've got here? We've got 1, 2, 3 on this side, and then, what, at least 2 on the other side? Yeah, you can see it branching in and out here. I guess this is another place of interest on the way by the look of it. Now, some of the more interesting places of interest that you're going to see. Again, I don't know the geography of this place massively well, but people who live in this area will know the geography, and they'll be able to see a lot of the sites in here, like I did when I was going east out of London, going up into Essex. I was like, oh yeah, cool, that's Chelmsford, that's Braintree, you know, I knew all the places. But West London is not a place I've ever lived. It's only a place I've ever travelled to and from. But in terms of the places of interest you're going to get, one of them is, for example, the Box Tunnel. The Box Tunnel is on the southern route down to Bristol. The Box Tunnel, I think, is the longest railway tunnel in the UK. It is a big old tunnel, and I think it was built in the 1800s. It's about 1.8 miles long, 3 kilometres, something like that. And it was originally built for the Great Western Railway. I can't say that, can I? Look at that. Fantastic. You're going to see a lot of industry along here as well. You've also got Filton Airport. You may be wondering what the heck Filton Airport is. Well, Filton Airport is was a private runway. Filton Airport was owned and operated by BAE, British Aerospace Industries, if you remember. They're the people that built the British Concorde. And every British Concorde took off, its first flight took off from Filton Airport. If you go to Filton Airport, there's actually one of the Concordes there. That's the last one that flew. It flew out of Heathrow, if you remember. I think it went to... was it JFK it went to? And then it came back. And it landed at Filton Airport. And that's it. That was when it stopped. It's now on its own little apron. Apparently, they're waiting to put that in a museum. I think there's going to be a museum built for it. And it's going to go into there eventually. But for now, it's just sat at the side of Filton Airport. And you can actually see it if we go past... I'm not sure if we go past Filton Airport. but you can actually see it, the Concorde, in this scenario, on its little apron, so that's pretty cool. You've got the Clifton Suspension Bridge, which is quite a nice one. You've got the Millennium Stadium, which is up at Cardiff, I think. Cardiff Millennium Stadium, I think that's right. That one's up at Cardiff. We're not going to go there today. There are some scenarios, like I say, that I could do. I kind of feel like I should make a few videos on this one because it is quite big, but each of the scenarios are either 45-minute ones, which are fine, like 45-minute commuter runs. However, some of them are 5 o'clock in the morning in winter, so it's dark or rainy or snowy. Doesn't make for the best video footage, but I could still give them a whirl. And then the rest of them are massive scenarios, like 2-3 hours long, which means splitting them into videos. Look at that. Like there's two level... just think about the mapping that's gone on here. There's like quite a lot of mapping for the many, many miles of track that we've got. 22 miles to Reading. Keep my eye on that one. Yeah, I'm full speed. I can't even get anywhere near that 125 limit. We're doing 93 flat out, so not in danger of breaking the speed limit currently. We've also got the... yeah, we're going to go to Didcot, aren't we? Yeah, we're going to go to Didcot. So we'll see the Didcot power station. Now, you can still see the gas cooling towers at Didcot power station, but that was closed in 2013, I think. But this scenario is set between 2013 and 2015, so, you know, artistic license says they're allowed to put that in. It's not something you can see now, but it was pretty significant in its day, so they've left it in. Fair enough. You'll see the massive cooling towers of Didcot power station as we approach that. Like I say, it is quick drive compatible. I'm just trying to think of all the different things that this thing has. Comes with a manual. The manual kind of takes you through the different scenarios. It lists out the extra locos that you can buy for it, and it kind of gives you an absolute ton of photos, like the places of interest. It breaks it all down so you can go out looking for it, which is quite nice. It's nice to have a semi-decent manual. Made in it. Why don't they should put black background on that writing when you pop it up? Do you know what I mean? Like a black stroke around the white letter, and then it always pops off the background, because when it's on the sky you can't see that. Maidenhead. We're not stopping at Maidenhead, but Maidenhead is probably a significant platform which we need to take a look at on the way through. Let's have a look in the back here. Oh yeah, first class. Hello! We're looking very dapper, sir. Is that Sherlock? That might actually be Sherlock Holmes. First class carriage. Oh, I've got my own coffee. How very nice. Laptops and mobile phones only. What are you going to do? Just pull out a vacuum cleaner and start cleaning the place? I mean, geez, what do you think you're carrying? Like a hairdryer? She looks very thoughtful. Is that the door to this place? Or is that like a throughput with the... that might be the buffet car, actually. Could be the buffet that we're next to. It is first class. They're often next to buffet cars, so that the rich don't have to walk very far to get their snacks. That's how it works. But yeah, you can see on the right, though, just on the other side of the line, there's a mixture of factories and warehouses. Like lots of commerce along here, you know, which is not surprisingly. I mean, originally, you know, before the railways, you had the canals, and the canals used to move a lot of goods around Britain. You know, you had the floating barges, and then they'd load them up with things like coal, and then the horses would pull them along the canals. So whenever you had a canal, it was a significant trading route, because that's how people move goods. You know, lots of goods. This is before the age of trucks. And even railways, you had the barges on the canals. And then, of course, the railways came along with the motors and the engines, and they started to move goods around that way. But wherever you get significant train lines, you will always see factories and businesses along its length, because it makes the most sense to build them along there. Nowadays, of course, a lot of stuff is moved by trucks around the roads, but they still move a lot of things around on the freight overnight. but mostly the railways these days move passengers. Four miles into Maidenhead, not 9 miles, how far into, 15 miles into Reading, arriving 9:34, our current ETA is 9:26, so we're ahead of the game, which is fine. I like being ahead of the game. Arriving early is never a particularly bad thing, arriving late is a very bad thing. The most depressed train ever. Fantastic. Of course, whenever I go external camera, I often get caught by flipping AWS. I need to be careful. I don't want to get the emergency brakes. I've already activated them myself. Got a power down here, 1500 RPM, 800 amps of power. 800 amps of power. Just think about that. Pretty much everything in your house that you plug in is, what, 13 amps? And that's got 800 amps of power. Unbelievable. Is this, this might be Maidenhead coming up. Let's go external when we go through Maidenhead. That's the local commuter train on the right there. You can drive those around here for the frequent stoppers. If you want to see all the little platforms as well as the major platforms, you can certainly do that. 1.6 miles, so it should be coming up here. Yeah, here you go. So Maidenhead, although we're not stopping, is, you know, Maidenhead's a fairly big town, so it should have a reasonable platform. Be interesting to see how many platforms it has. We've got 4 lines going on here, so the maximum is going to be 4, unless it's got little sidings. Oh, nice! Look at that. What a lovely place to live. Like very historic houses right by the waterside there. Okay, here we go. I kind of felt the scenery load then. Yep, there's some cross linkages going on here now. So you can change platform. Alright, it looks like they might have 4 platforms. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 platforms in fact. They've actually got an extra... Oh look, there's a little branch line going off there. That's what that sneaky platform was. Yeah, they've got 5 platforms and a branch line going off. Let's have a quick look at where that was. Let's just see if we can spot where that went. Oops. Yeah, there you go. Maidenhead Platform 5A, which heads north into nothingness. Obviously not implemented, but that must go somewhere. Probably a local branch line to the villages. Okay, let's keep on the concentration here, because the next stop is in fact Reading, 10 miles. I'm not 100% on the braking characteristics of this thing. I think it's got pretty good braking. But I am very early, so... you know, I've got plenty of capacity to brake early. And then after that, it'll be departing 9:48. Sorry, departing 9:34 and then going to Didcot 9:47. So that's more of a 10-minute stop. So that's quite a short haul. It's actually gone quite rural now. Look at this. A lot more housing. Gone are all the factories and stuff. Bolt straight line though. Look at this. Let's have a quick zoom up. Oh, look at that! You miss all of this. There's so much going on up here, and you can't see it because they're elevated. But they've actually modelled it all. They've modelled the valley. Now this was a massive engineering project in its day. Particularly the box tunnel. The box tunnel was actually thought to be impossible by engineers at the time. A lot of them said it couldn't be done because it was so vast. It actually cuts through the limestone. And the limestone that you see though is like, don't know, like 160 million years old or something, because that whole area used to be, you know, 160 million years ago, which is quite a long time ago, it used to be buried under warm water, and that created the limestone. And that rock is actually excavated, and you can see, if you go to Bath, or Bath, however you want to say it, you can see it was excavated by the Romans, and they built a lot of the you know, the Bath, the reason it's called Bath is because there are a lot of bathhouses there, and the Romans built them with the limestone that came from that area where the Box Tunnel is, which is kind of cool. It's all nice and linked together. Okay, we are very much in the rural countryside now as we approach Reading. 7 miles away. I'm going to power down at about 2 miles away, I think. And then we'll start decelerating. There is an option on this scenario to, when it starts off with, you see this track here, it's like a 2D track layout. There's an option to enable something called 3D track, which, of course, each slat of wood, instead of this being a flat texture, the whole thing is 3D, it's actual slats of wood. I tried enabling it, but the problem is although it looks fantastic, as it goes into the distance, you suffer massively from aliasing problems, which are compounded by the fact, particularly with NVIDIA cards. With NVIDIA cards, for some reason, in this train simulator, you can't turn on, I think it's SSAA, which gives you really nice anti-aliasing, but is horrendously badly supported by this and NVIDIA. They just don't sit well together. You have to go for the, is it FXAA and MSAA, but not FSAA? I can't remember. It's all on the settings. Bottom line is, I can't use 3D track because it looks nasty. You can see the aliasing here on the railings. You see that? You see those patterns, those aliasing patterns? Well, a graphics card with nice aliasing will take care of that. I've got a great graphics card, but I can't turn on the options because the frame rate tanks out on this game. So unfortunately, I have to use 2D track. But you can try it. Maybe if you've got like an AMD card, or you know, I don't know. Just give it a whirl, see if you can get it to work for you. I couldn't. But it can make the track look better. Makes it kind of pop out the screen better. As it stands, I had to play around a lot with my settings just to get my train simulator to, you know, look decent and have a decent frame rate on high quality settings. So all my settings are pretty much maxed out. And I get upwards of 30 FPS, anything from 30 to 60 depending on where we are. If we come into a very, very busy station, you know, the worst it can get is about 27 FPS. Which, you know, on a computer like mine is ridiculous, quite frankly, but until we move to a decent engine, that's the way it is. Unreal Engine should take care of all of that. 3 miles to Reading. Got a 95 limit coming up. Let's just start backing off slightly on the power. Okay, let's back off all the way on the power. I think that's the ADUS telling me the speed limit change, I think. But let's back off now. Yeah, I can see a 60 coming up as well. Flashing yellows, which means we have a track change. Let's get some braking going on. We're going to need to get down to 60 ahead. Like I say, we've got plenty of time, so... don't really have a problem with doing this early. %, power. Let's cruise to victory. So a track change, then 50, then a stop into the platform. Looking good so far. So Reading Station Platform 8, that gives you an idea of how many platforms we're very likely to see. At least 8. Ah, looks like there's another branch line coming in here. I can't look at the map, unfortunately. We'll have to have a look at the map, because we're going to be waiting here for a few minutes, so what I'll probably do is have a quick look at the map and see where things go around here. Okay, I half expected to be changing track then. Let's say 926. Yeah, you can see, look at that. Look at Reading Station. Pretty big. Let's get a slight bit of braking going on. Okay. Looking good. Welcome to Reading. Again, the only thing that's missing with this game now is just the amount of passengers we can see. You know, this is a huge platform, and there should be an awful lot of people walking around here. And that's the only thing that stops it looking otherwise what would be fairly realistic. I think here will do. Let's get those doors open. Let's check the back. Okay, the back is well within the platform, and these platforms are huge. Okay, so we are departing 9:34. It's only 9:27, so we are here very early indeed. So a very quick look around to see where we are. Okay, so that's us. Platform. Wow, this thing's got a huge amount of platforms. Look at this. It's got these 3 siding platforms here for local runs that terminate here. It's got a similar thing here. Platform 4, 5 and 6. And 4, 5 and 6 are that line that we saw as we came in. We saw that line coming in. And they go off, by the look of it, down towards the south. And that says Portal Ely Station down. Portal Ely. So that obviously goes that way. That other local line goes this way, which then leaves all of these platforms here, all the way up to platform 15. There's a train there from Swansea to London Paddington, that one over there on the right. This one's going from Paddington to Oxford, so that's probably a local train. Yep, that's a local train. You can actually do that scenario, I think, Oxford to Paddington. That one over there, I can't quite see where it is. See if you can see. Yeah, here's the locals coming in. That one, yeah, that's the one that's going from Swansea down to London Paddington. But yeah, just look at the scope of this. Just look at that. That's a lot of modelling. And that is just one place on a very, very big line. Incredible amount of work. But other than that, yeah, we've got a bit of a wait going on here. So after this, we'll be heading to Reading Depot. Look at that, it's got a massive depot here. Lots of terminal lines here for the freight, I guess, to get parked here. Or even possibly a siding station. Without seeing if they're enclosed areas, it's hard to see what they're for. A shed depot, Reading Depot. And then the line goes this way. But it kind of heads quite a bit north, if you look at that. So although this runs from west to east, from east to west, it kind of took a real kink there. That brings us to, what's this one? Didcot. So that's Didcot. Then at Didcot you can go north. This is going to go up to Oxford, I think. Yes, there's Oxford, and that's possibly Banbury or Bicester or somewhere like that. Oxford Parkway. Islip. Wow. Yeah, Bicester Village. And that's just one little branch, and then it's just mind-blowing. It's like a world. This here, Bristol Temple Meads. Look how crazy busy this is. Look at this loop. It's pretty impressive. Where's that one? Bristol Bulk Terminal North. And that looks like something out of a motorway junction. What is this? Filton Abbey. And that one is Bristol Parkway. So that is more like what you'd see on motorway junctions, like an intersection straight over and branching off. Very cool. And then this, of course, goes all the way down to, look at that, it's massive. Exeter. We need to take a journey in another video. We need to come out of here. I need to take this line. Exeter to Bristol Temple Meads, maybe. Don't know if there's a scenario for that, but there needs to be. Okay, I'm just going to wait this one out. So I'll cut this so that you don't have to. So I don't actually get this. It says departing 9:34, and 9:34 is gone. It's weird. It says up here, look, departing 9:34. Down here, it's definitely 9:34 right now. Unless it means the other end of 9:34, which is actually nearer to 9:35. But I can't do anything. It's got the doors open, and the time is still running. So, just wait it out. What did it say on the sign there? Cheltenham Spa. Right away, driver. Okay. Looks like we just got released. %, power. Seems to apply its power very, very gently. Let's give it some welly. ETA 9:46 currently. Is okay. That means we're going to get there on time. So I don't know what was going on there. Maybe that was just a weird scenario bug. The main thing is it's not affected us. This bridge here, I'm sure I've seen this before. I recognise this from something else, like either a different scenario. Yeah, I think... Hang on, I've got another scenario, not from Just Trains. I think it was from Dovetail. Like a Bristol-Exeter route or something weird. And it definitely has this bridge in it. Because I think I took a freight train over here, and when you get over the top of the hill, the sheer weight of the train pushes you down, and it had something like a red signal on the other side of this hill, and the weight of the thing was slamming you into this red light, and you had to use all the brakes just to stop in time. But yeah, this hill here is actually quite well known, I think. Let's climb over. It's quite cool. I've been playing a lot of another game called City Skylines, and you get obviously it kind of throws me back to the games I used to play, like Railroad Tycoon and Transport Tycoon, all those kind of games where you have to build transport networks. You know, I love those games. You're building transport networks. You've got to solve problems of traffic management, and like they've done here. You know, they've got elevated track over the top of other track, and it's so very cool because if you've ever played those games, you realise why things are done the way they're done. You know, to alleviate congestion and to keep things flowing, and you create these little bypass routes, and it's all very cool. In City Skylines, you don't tend to get that much detail though. Not in terms of the track layout. You do build a track, and you can build underground track and an overground track, like this kind of thing. Look at this, 60 miles per hour limit coming down here. Before you hit a 125 limit. Okay, looks like that works. I didn't need to actually apply the brakes. But in games like Transport Tycoon, I remember... Sorry, Railway Tycoon, I remember laying down track and you have to sort of set the signals for everything. Oh my god, the micromanagement was real, but it was so good. Okay, 125, let's floor it. We have a 947 ETA, so we are cutting this one fine. 15 miles. We should be heading, if you remember on the map we had a look at, we should be heading roughly northwest now, up to Didcot. Didcot is where we'll see the power plant. So that's more scenery to look out for. Wow, that little turnaround roundabout there. I think it's going out into the country. Stick my head out the window. Have a look at the... You can't do this in real life, of course, but... hello! It's kind of cool to do it in the game. Watch your head! Ah! You get a nicer view. You can, of course, look out that way as well. Aha! I wonder if these drivers, as they're passing each other like that, like we're going 70, let's assume he's going 70. That's a closing speed of 140 miles per hour. I wonder if you get a chance to see the other guy, see who it is, you probably know them, and get a chance to sort of wave and they wave back, all in a, you know, a matter of a second or something, while they fly past you like hi Jeff! I wonder if they get a chance to do that or they just don't bother. Trackside view. Alright, looks like we're climbing slightly here. What is that over there? Is that a bunch of houses? So we've got some farmland. You get a lot of this in Essex and Suffolk. There's huge amounts of farmland. It is so flat in Suffolk and Norfolk, with a lot of fertile land, that that's why there's so many farms there. So when you cut through that stuff, it's just farm field after field after field after field. It's incredible. It'd be kind of good to know what these little villages are. These little pocket villages you get. This train is weird though. It just... I think the most we've had out of it is... what, 90 maybe? I've never done a ton in it, I don't think. I think they're electrifying this as well. Like, more and more of it is electrified. I think it's actually this year, I think, that the box tunnel is due to be completely electrified. Because obviously they want to get rid of the diesel passenger trains and replace them with electric, but you can see how long this stuff is. It's an enormous electrification project. And of course, laying overhead electric cable, whilst during the day there's trains going up and down it all day long, is actually quite a tricky operation. It means that you can only really do it at night. Tell you what, those engineers, there must be thousands of them. The engineers who just work through the night, like that's all they do is work night shift. You know, all the people that look after the trains and the, you know, the trams and the tube networks and all this stuff, that they can't operate on the vehicles in the day. I was watching a program the other day, and there was a guy who it was like a day in the life of kind of thing. And he worked at where was it now? He works in one of the depots. I can't remember which line it was. He works in one of the depots for the one of the trains that comes in. It was an electrified train, and he's a qualified electrician, and he replaces the shoes. You know the shoes that go on top of the pantograph? The actual contact points, they're made out of carbon. They're like these big plates that make contact with the overhead line. And of course they wear down. They don't take long to wear down either, because this thing is just, you know, in contact with the wire all the time. And they have to be replaced every so many thousand miles. And that's what he does. And he works in this, he arrives at work at sort of 9 o'clock at night, and then he doesn't leave till 7 o'clock in the morning. And he said even the safety procedures they have to go through to make sure that the overhead line is not powered when he's up there replacing the shoe, because even though the pantograph is taken down, is lowered while he replaces the shoes, the overhead line, the voltage is so high that if you get near to it, it can actually, you know, attract you, and vook, next thing you know, you're touching the wire. The power can just jump from the wire straight onto you and kill you in an instant. So they have this, you know, they have this these lights, these indicators which show whether the overhead line is on or off. But even so, this guy is on this massive safety harness with a huge ground cable connected to him, and he said that, you know, the very first day on the job is like every other day. You still, even now, when you climb up there, even now you're thinking, is that power really off? I can see the light saying it's off, but you never know. What a job. So yeah, he works through the night, sort of replacing parts on these high-speed trains, on the electric trains and stuff. Leaves work at 7 in the morning, goes home, goes to bed. It must be so weird having a nocturnal job like that. It's the same with all the engineers on these track. You know, they work through the night, just moving from place to place. Like if you're one of those engineers, you're working in a different part of the country every night, pretty much. You need to go and repair the track, wherever that might be, or extend the track, or replace worn out lines, or whatever it takes. That's your job. I like this train. I'm pretty certain I used to have one of these on my Hornby railway set. Actually, I heard the other day that I think it's Hornby as I think it's either gone into receivership or administration, or they're looking for a buyer, but they're struggling. There's just not enough demand for the stuff anymore. Hornby makes a load of stuff. It's not just trains, they make lots of stuff. You know, many years ago they were very, very popular, but obviously everything's about computers these days. It's all about online gaming and that kind of thing, and so there's far, far, far less people playing with train sets and stuff that you can make and construct. It's all online with computers. 4 miles to Didcot. So unfortunately, yeah, sad times. It's they're not doing well. The whole Scale Electric, the Hornby Railways, all that good stuff. Probably going to turn into a niche market rather than something that, like when I was a kid, I used to have a Scale Electric, I used to have a Total Control Racing, I used to have loads of Airfix models, I used to make loads and loads of Airfix models. Make them, paint them, hang the aircraft on my ceiling. The Spitfires and the Hurricanes, the Junkers, used to hang them from my ceiling. Scale Electric sat around the living room wishing it was bigger, wishing it had more track, but of course Scale Electric was always very expensive. 3 miles, upward hill climb. But then, you know, we used to have an Action Man as well. And a $6 million man. Yep, $6 million man. They don't even make that anymore. I tell you what, if you've got one of those, they'll be worth a few quid. Particularly if it's in its box. Collector's item. Right, we need to look out for Didcot Parkway now, and the Didcot power station. I'm just keeping an eye out for any speed changes that might be going on. By the way, notice how the window's dirty as well, that texturing. I've not actually tried the wipers. At least they're not squeaky. Wow, ETA 9:49. Wow, well done, game. So you make me set off late, and then I go flat out all the way to this place and arrive late. How does that work? I arrived at the last station way too early, and now, because it set me off a minute late, I'm arriving here a minute late. That's ridiculous. Very hard to judge the braking, I just don't know. We're 1 mile out and we're doing 76. I don't know when to start braking on this thing. I don't want to brake too early because I don't have any time left. I'm already late. Not seen the power plant yet. .3 of a mile. Start braking a bit more. There it is. See the 3 cooling towers in the distance. .28 miles per hour into the platform. This looks like it might not be a long platform as well. Oh no, it's okay. Yeah, we are seriously late. Look at this. Nothing I could do about that either. I think that scenario's slightly wrong myself. Hey, they got the feet in concrete, look. Wet concrete. Oh, he's okay. Let's go all the way down here just to make sure. Yep. Let's get the doors open. Didcot platform 1 arrived 9:47. We arrived at 9:50. GG. So it looks like they've got a short platform, which must be for the local stuff, and then a long platform for the fast trains. I like all this, like the overgrown aspect. That's a lot of red cars, what the heck? Right away, driver.